Hello, hello, hello. This is Zach Batista with B2C Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Brandon May.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
And a very special guest, Zach Peacock.
Woo! Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I told you guys I would bring some cool people on. This is definitely one of those ones that you guys should tap into and watch over and over and over again. This is my buddy. I don't know what to call him, but first we're going to call him a living legend. A living legend. This is one of those guys that in the streets you can't really get many trophies, but this guy's got a lot of acclaim out there. Everybody knows him around this city. Zach Peacock, man, professional skateboarder, tattoo artist, cinematographer, and just a good dude, man. I've tattooed with Zach for several years at Elizabeth Street, and we've had many good experiences and sometimes bad too. So I'm excited to bring him here for you guys today. I didn't even think he was going to say yes to the interview, so that's exciting for me.
You were a question mark on our list for a minute. I'm glad you said yes too.
Well, I had to.
Yeah. So yeah, let's dive straight into it, man.
Yeah, baby. Professional is there's a big question mark next to professional skateboarder because it's maybe at some point, but now it's just a labor of love. We'll say that.
I consider a professional skateboarder is somebody who could do the trick when they need to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's without the claim. You know what I mean? If I was like, all right, man, do
kickflip.
Yeah,
do an ollie.
Kickflip.
Yeah, bust it out.
Kickflip real quick.
Yeah.
Like you could do that.
Yeah, but that's more consistency than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on my scale, that's professional. Because in our job, you know what I mean? Consistency and being able to pull that trick out when you need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I got to have a big bag of tricks.
Yeah.
If I'm not, then I'm not a professional. You're a professional.
I agree with you.
Don't fucking deny that
well,
shit. You've been sponsored before.
Yeah, I got paid to skate, sponsored, all of it.
Right.
That's I think that qualifies as a professional in my book.
In the skate community, being professional is your name on a board and a shoe. That's professional.
Gotcha.
And I did never have that. So I'm just, and like there was never like, I'm not saying you need the party, but you'll get like a pro party and there's like a whole like, hey, you're a pro now. And like you had to be amateur skateboarder for X amount of years. That's a whole nother part of it. And it was just skating, getting free product, getting paid from a couple of the companies. And there was those pieces to it, but there is definitely like it's like in tattooing, you go through the apprenticeship. And then when you get when the person apprenticing you feels like you're at that level, then you can go to the next step. And I was in the first, I wasn't an apprentice, but I wasn't a pro. We'll just say that.
Mm-hmm. One of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is because of your lifestyle. This is a lifestyle episode for me. And I believe you live life to its fullest. You know, you've dealt with a lot of adversity, sickness, traumatic events within your life, and I just wanted to kind of touch on those things. You know, I know a few years back you caught a illness. Can you go ahead and bring us in on that real quick?
Yeah. So, I mean, it all kind of depends on how far back you want to go, because I was born with underdeveloped lungs, and then past that, it's like in my early teen years, I might have been like anywhere from 11 to 14, I had orchiopexy, and orchiopexy is a vein it's kind of tied in a knot in one of your testicles. Mm-hmm. And so I would get these crazy stomach pains, and I didn't know what it was from. And then finally we go to the doctor, and they're just like, oh, you have this issue. They did an ultrasound on them, and then I almost lost one of them. And then they were able to cut it open, straighten the vein out. However, I don't know the surgery, but whatever they did, I was young. Sorted that out, and then from there, it was I had scoliosis most of my life. I still do. I sit like an idiot. And then on top of that, it was I was born with cirrhosis, and never drank alcohol, never done anything. Smoked weed in junior high, but that was pretty much it. And then so my whole life, I felt like I had like anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours of sleep. Like that's the best way I could describe it, because people are like, what does it feel like being born, like having cirrhosis? And so how I would describe it would be just you always feel tired. And like it didn't matter how good the food I ate or how much I slept. It didn't matter at all. I always felt burnt out. And Brandon, we worked together during all of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And so Brandon can contest to this. I was on edge all the time.
Oh yeah. He would come in and, we would kind of arrive at the same time. He's very routine heavy.
Yeah.
And I'm routine heavy as well. So we would kind of arrive at maybe 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I usually get here around 8.
He'd be cooking a fucking bagel and shit like that. I'd be over here, cleaning up or doing what I do. And I would kind of look over in his booth and be like, hey, what's up? And sometimes I wouldn't get a response. You know what I mean? It'd just be like, all right, this motherfucker, I ain't fucking with cuts today. Like,
it was funny because Brandon would be like, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm like, how the fuck you think I'm doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking dying. But at the time, I didn't know what was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just like stone-faced, just ignorant, super, super shitty.
Yeah, and I'm a positive person.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, all right, let me pick Cut's spirits up. And it just, when you're dealing with those type of illnesses, man, there is nothing that I can say or I could do to kind of pick his spirit up. But I think the routine was cool. You know what I mean? I guess that helped out as well, too, because that's one of the things that I think I'm trying to implement for today's episode is this guy is so routine heavy that it establishes a good future for his later life. And I think that's a testament to how he's living life. You know what I mean? Because he's a regimented individual, he
that's what keeps him
seizes
going.
the moment. Yeah, he doesn't waste fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, he's always fucking doing something. Even with going through, like, he got hit by a fucking semi on a Harley. And
and that predated the liver transplant. The liver transplant was in 2020, and then I was diagnosed with cirrhosis late, I don't know, it was 2016, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. I got diagnosed with the cirrhosis, and then I got on the transplant list, and then I got the transplant. I got the call in 2020 for the transplant, and so that was that whole thing. But in December 20.
And you went through the transplant.
Yeah, I went through that and everything. But December 28th, 2013, that's when I got hit by the semi truck. And that's what
What?
Yeah, on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him at that time, but I had heard about it through another shop. And that's how I knew it was bad. You know, when you hear about it from another shop, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably going to die or some shit. Like,
it's wild.
But the crazy, it's not the fact that, he made it through all this shit. The dope part about it is he was like back to what he was doing immediately.
Yeah.
Months later.
Capable,
as soon as he was capable, he was back skateboarding.
After the motorcycle accident, I had, because of all the surgeries and everything, I had no feeling in my hand at all.
Oh, shit.
And I'm left-handed.
Shit.
So I was every day I was I got a 2-pound weighted sand ball, and I would squeeze it every day, and I still had no feeling in my hand. And so for 6 months, I couldn't feel anything. I could touch nothing. Didn't have any sensation at all. And so once I had the strength to come back to tattooing, I was in a wheelchair for a month and a half, and then I went to a walker, and then after the walker I was on a cane, and when I was on the cane, then I finally came back to the tattoo shop and tried to tattoo. And so at that point, I was but I was still trying to draw, but I couldn't feel the paper that my hand was resting on. I couldn't feel anything. And so once I got back to tattooing, then it was a matter of I didn't know how hard I was holding the machine. Oh. And then I couldn't feel the skin that my hand was resting on. So I'd go to pull a line, and then I'd wipe, and there would be nothing there. And I was like, oh, cool, I got to go deeper.
Yeah.
Because the sensation, tattooing is such a touch-feel thing. And when that's not there, it's but I was able to come back to tattooing and tattoo, even though I couldn't feel what I was doing. Yeah. And then eventually, thank God, the nerves somehow came back. Maybe because I was using it all the time.
Yeah.
But because it came back, I was now there's no numbness or anything in my hand.
There's that meme where it's stop being a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
David Goggins.
Yeah. He makes me feel like that. As far as what the body is capable of enduring and, rebuilding it. Go ahead.
But I gotta ask, why tattoo? Why that push to get back into tattooing?
Everything comes from skateboarding for me. That how Brandon was touching on the drive and not giving up and all that. It's skateboarding.
Okay.
From an early age, my dad skated. I got baby pictures on a skateboard. There's all these it's from birth. It was ingrained in me, the skating. And I was born in '85, so skating in the late '80s through the early '90s and all that. There was no money in it for somebody like myself. that's getting into skating around that time. The only reason why I say that is because you could be a teenager right now in 2024, and you could be your immediate could be like, I want to be a pro skateboarder, and that's a realistic goal. As to when in the early 90s, you'd be like, you tell your parents, oh, I want to be a pro skateboarder. They'd be like, get a fucking job.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to like get at. It's like in the 90s, it wasn't a career path at all. So I was just skating because I truly loved this shit. And there's nobody who fails more in life than somebody who's participating in some kind of like extreme activity, like skateboarding, BMX, motocross, inline skates. Like for my time, like the early 90s, late 80s and all that stuff, that's just what we did. We were outside turnkey kids, you know. We played outside. We did everything outside. There's no cell phones. Just before the birth of the internet, and with all that, you learn failure. You're learning failure. And nobody learns skateboarding right away. Everything takes 50 fucking tries if you're lucky. Usually it takes hours, and then when you get it, you get that mild sense of gratitude.
Yeah.
Literally like
for a second. Yeah. And then you're like, let's do it again.
Yeah. I'm getting like 3 seconds of gratitude. And then I'm like, okay, cool, let's try and do it again. And then then another 4 hours and then you're not getting it again.
Yeah.
So it's ingrained in you from a young age as a skateboarder that like failure is a part of life. And you're not changing that. And so I took that bit of the skateboarder mentality and I applied it to everything in my life. So I learned this later on in life that I was applying it to everything, and it was because of skateboarding, but subconsciously, that's just in my psyche how it happened. I didn't know until years later that I was like, oh, it's because of skateboarding that I'm willing to fail. If I did, like when my first couple years of tattooing, I'd do a bad tattoo, and I'd be like, well, sick, let's do it better. And then like when you do it better, you're still like, just never satisfied.
Is skateboarding your mental release?
Yeah, skateboarding is everything. Mm-hmm. Knowing Brian Foster and like him owning Elizabeth Street and me, he's been really big on like the Buddha and all that, like that mentality. I don't know if he's an active practicing type, but I know that if he was going to pick a spirituality, it would go towards that. And hearing him talk about those kind of like those practices and everything. And then Dave Keneally, a close friend of him, was an actual Buddhist monk. Mm-hmm. And he studied under like some super famous monk guy. And, just them explaining the philosophies of like Buddhism and everything, it explained, like I started to understand, because like I think like when everybody'd be like, oh, I need to meditate, I'd be like, what kind of kook yoga shit are you on, dude?
Yeah.
Like I don't want nothing to do with that fucking hokey bullshit. Dude. Like I was just super punk rock, super hateful, like against all of that shit. I was like, take your bullshit and take it somewhere else. So that was so then getting older and being a little bit more open to like hearing other people's like points of views and everything, then hearing these people that I care about talk about Buddhism and everything, and then they explain meditation and all like that, and I'm like, oh shit, that's skateboarding. Like, if you go to the skate park and you have some bullshit on your brain, or you're thinking about something like that, or you're thinking about your girlfriend, you're thinking about some fight you have with one of your friends or whatever, you're gonna have the worst session of your life at the skate park. So you have to go to the skate park and you have to fucking turn off. And what is that? Turning everything off. That's meditation.
Absolutely.
In its simplest form. So I don't want to chalk it up to some kook shit.
He said he don't want to give it his credit.
But
I see you.
But if it wasn't for skateboarding, I wouldn't.
There's something there.
It's it. Yeah, that's
we'll
it.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
There's something there. Yeah. Nah, I mean, I've never thought about that until we've had these conversations. A lot of these conversations are new to me as well, even though I've worked with him for years. He's not somebody who's just accessible like that. He has to decide to do one of these things. And obviously he's changed over the years to even fucking be talking about this type of shit. So that's dope. And kudos to you. Where was I at? Skateboarding.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering your outlook on life. Yeah, you're motivated and stuff like that, but why haven't you just been like, fuck it? And been like, fuck it, cuz. You know what I mean? Because you've been dealing with a whole bunch of fucked up shit since I've known you.
Yeah.
And what keeps you from just saying, fuck it? Yes, you have a skater mentality.
Yeah.
But what in your head, I guess I'm wondering, are you telling yourself when you're going through these situations to get back?
And again, I was raised in, my mom went to BYU. She was super religious. And she never forced religion on us. She's not Mormon. I'd say she's more Christian than anything. But when she was younger, she went to BYU, and because of a close friend of hers. And so just religion was always present in the household. My dad wasn't around at all, ever, not even a little bit. So everything that I say from here on out is because of my mom. That's just what it is. So when I talk about parents or family or any of that stuff, it's just, I'm talking about my mom. I'm not talking about my dad at all about any of this. My mom posted him as like a, like this, because she knows that every male needs that, like, male figure in their life. And so when I was real young, she'd always be like, oh, your dad, like, she portrayed him as like this great person. And I got into skateboarding and I got into motorcycles because of this image that my mom painted of my dad. And so, like, kind of like being hyped on this false image of my dad. And then I got older and I realized how my dad really was. And then it was just like, okay, cool. And it fucked me up for a long time because I don't want to be anything like my dad at all because of the choices he's made in life. But I love, and my mom had to be both parents. And so the fake part of my dad that she made up, that was still coming from my mom. So it's like I got the parenting, both like the mother and the father from that. And I was raised partially by my mom's dad, my grandpa. So I got that in me too. And that was like World War II, Navy, like there was no bullshit in that guy. And so any bit of structure that I did have was because of him. And like I got to see like what a real man was like in that sense. But a little sidetracked. But what I'm getting at is suicide and all that none of that stuff is an option because I was raised religious. I wasn't a practicing religion, but my mom, she never pushed it, but she'd always be like, hey, if you go to church, if you see these things, it helps you in the long run. Like, just to understand that there is a moral compass, that just don't be a piece of shit. Ultimately, like, to sum it up, that's what it is. And because I think like some underlining thing, like, because I went to church and I realized that there's like, because at any point you can just kill yourself. You're like, I don't have to deal with the struggle anymore. Like, that's the easy. I see it. I know a lot of people don't see it like that, but I think suicide is the easy way out. I have close childhood friends that have killed themselves, and I'm a little spiteful. I'm like, you took the bitch move. Like, there's no other way for me to say it. And I know not everybody feels that way about it, but that's how I feel about it. I'm like, you fucked up. You didn't want to keep fighting. You didn't want to fucking fight for what you believed in. Like, that's a bitch move. It's the easy way out. I'm sure it's not easy to fucking hang yourself from the rafters or put a fucking 22, not a 22, like 45 or whatever, double barrel shotgun in your mouth and actually pull the trigger. But I think religion is the base of why all that shit. And then as I got older, it was like, why not, you know? And I think having that base of religion it's like me believing that everything kind of happens for a reason and just wanting to see what the next step is. And it's interesting. And skateboarding has given me it's been fun. Like, I've got to travel. I've got to do this because of skateboarding. So I'm like, and then when I got into motorcycles, I got a whole different group of friends. And then now we can travel farther because we have these machines to take us there and all these different things. And then I get into photography and videography and all that. And now I'm meeting a different group of people. And so all this shit is just like one next step over to the next thing. And it's like every piece of everything that I've been a part of in my life has showed me the next step. So for me, it's just like, why not? Like, there's no real reason, but I think religion is the base. But then on top of that, it's just like, fuck, man, just keep going. Like, I'm just curious. Like, my grandma always said, she goes, you can kill yourself and then the next day win the lottery. So
that's something to live for. Yeah, that's.
And anytime I think about suicide, I think about that. I'm just like, and I've never been one to be like, this is fucking terrible, I'm gonna kill myself. Thoughts never even gone through my mind. But just that thought of my grandma saying that, I'm just like, I don't even play the lottery, so there's no way I'm gonna win the fucking lottery. Right. But it's that thing, like, you could kill yourself and then the next day you win the lottery. So it's just the unknowing is what's interesting. It's just like, well, fuck, let's see where this goes. I'm 38 and it's not like my life has been so fucking colorful in 38 years.
Right, it's been good. Like, and do you think going through the things that you've gone through makes you go harder at life?
Yeah, you push, because motorcycles are dangerous. Skateboarding is dangerous. I hear about people all the time, like, stepping on a skateboard for the first time and they roll into a bowl and they hit their head. Then they're in a coma in the hospital for a couple of months and then they pull the plug and they're dead.
Right.
To me, I'm like, that doesn't even, like, I can't even fucking fathom that, because it's like I've been skateboarding for so long that it's just, I'm like, I can't tell you the amount of, like, I probably got crazy CTE and shit because I've hit my head so many fucking, I don't wear helmets and pads and shit. That doesn't even, like, I have a one
When's
wheel.
the last time you smacked your shit?
Like a month ago.
Yeah.
Like hard too. Like I'm just like I wake up and I don't even remember.
You got rocked. Yeah.
I don't remember trying the trick. I was just like, oh fuck. Like I'm waking up on the ground and I'm holding my head. I'm like, oh shit, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I don't think. Then I got back on the board and I tried it again. Like my brain, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little slow. Like my brain's broken, dude. Yeah. I'm willing to keep going.
That perseverance, man, to want something, you know?
Yeah.
That perseverance to want something is huge. You've always been that way. You go back to motorcycles. This dude has had, man, since I've known him, maybe...
It's in the 40s.
Yeah, 40 different motorcycles and rebuilt them, customized them to his own. You know, he's raffled off some.
Yeah.
I always saw a new one outside the show. Every time I came here for appointments with Brandon, I was like, whose motorcycles?
They were probably mine.
They were.
That's a passion we both share. He knows I love motorcycles. That's like one of my first loves out there. You know, I guess any kid born in the 80s, you know, growing up in the 90s, had a love for BMX and motocross and stuff like that.
Well, Southern California, where we live, and like the ghetto parts of Southern California, like Riverside County and everything, it's fucking dirt.
Right.
So it's like the street that I grew up on was a shitty paved asphalt street that I couldn't roll on a skateboard on. So then I go grab the bike. I can make dirt jumps in front of my house, but I can't ride the thing that I love to do in front of my house.
Right.
I had to have a homeboy pick me up or skate long distances, hop on the bus and take that to get somewhere to go skate and do the thing that I want to do. So it's like, shit, yeah, like we all jump on bikes. And then like the natural progression of riding BMX is motocross or motorcycles.
You think growing up as a skateboarder has made you tougher?
Yeah, like I'm more, whenever I see somebody fall, like the thing that blows my mind when somebody doesn't know how to fall. Like I watch these memes on YouTube and Instagram and shit like that, and somebody's stumbling, like somebody barely pushed them, they stumble and fall. I'm like, how the fuck do you fall like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, they snap their knee by
you
taking a step.
You step off the curb and you break your fucking ankle. I'm like, that's mental, dude. Yeah. That doesn't even compute.
Yeah. What was that? Kid Cudi jumped off the stage at Coachella.
Yeah.
Real lightly. Damn near broke all his shit.
Yeah, good.
Know?
Fuck him. He should learn how to like fall the right way.
Right. He's not.
Don't be jumping off shit, dude. I don't care how psyched you were and how much adrenaline you had.
Right.
You weren't built for that, boy. Knock it off.
Right.
No, that's right.
Chill out.
Put that shit down.
I want to talk about some of your side projects. We've always had this big debate about how, hey Zach, I used to tell him, you're a fucking artist. You're Zach. You're a fucking artist.
I fucking hate that word.
You don't like that?
I hate the word.
Yeah, I saw your face immediately. It was like
he shoots everything. You know, he shoots.
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't shoot everything, but he shoots very well at what he's shooting at. You know, he's very particular, so he doesn't shoot everything, and he's got a very specific style to his. It's almost like cold world urban, with a little bit of modern to it. It's cool. You guys got to check out his photography, his film work.
Well, the thing with that is I love fashion.
Yeah.
Even though I don't look like it. I love fashion and I love architecture.
Yeah.
So those two, that's kind of what got me into the style of tattooing, that I like to do all the geometric shit.
Yeah.
Because I like symmetry. I like everything that turn of the century, like that 70s architecture. If you don't like that, your brain's broke. There's something about that shit. Like when you're driving through Palm Springs and every fucking house is so different, there's so much shit going on in there, and all I wish Palm Springs wasn't so hot because I'd live there. I don't fuck with the heat at all.
What's one thing that you're always gonna stop and shoot as a photographer?
For me, over the years, it's been the weird shit. Like I like textures. I like weird abstract. Like I've gotten way more into like macro, or it's funny because these two things don't kind of go together, but it's like the weird like landscapes of the world from a drone's perspective. Like I love like the drone photography because the world looks like something weird and abstract, like city lines and streets and everything like that. Even though it's this big, you're seeing all this shit, it still looks weird and abstract. But then like I'll get my camera and get a macro lens out, and then I'll shoot like the pores in my hand. And it's like super crazy close and detail, and it just looks weird. Like if you can't tell, when you look at the picture and you can't tell what it is, I'm like, I succeeded. Mm-hmm. That's like for me.
Do you look at those projects like building a bike or, you know?
It's hunting. Mm-hmm. I think of it as like hunting. Like I'm like, And I try everything in life. If you go looking for it, you're going to find it. And can be a good and a bad thing. For me, it's usually been bad. I try not to ever go out with an agenda. I just go out and try to get what I can get. It's like even relationships. Anytime I've like pursued a woman, it's bit me in the ass. Mm-hmm. It's like, don't pursue. Like for me, I'm like, don't go looking for anything because you usually find it.
That could be some solid advice right there. Yeah. I like that.
Dude,
yeah, I'll flag that one. Yeah.
Dude, that's just how I've always felt is like, I want it when I go out and shoot and stuff like it's not like, but that's skateboarding is like, we're pacing this landscape, whether it's a city or a skate park or whatever. Like you're just cruising around, you're evaluating, and then you're like, oh, sick, that'd be sick to shoot. Like the other day, I went down to downtown LA. I wanted to shoot those towers that are all graphed up right now, but
I saw that. Hold on, a little bit quick.
Yeah,
I saw that. You got that drone up with all the helicopters and all that going around.
So I had to take it down pretty quick, just because like if you're in their airspace, like FAA says that I can fly up to 400 feet.
Yeah.
And if I'm flying over 400 feet, which I'm always flying over 400 feet, I'm a skateboarder. Fuck you. I'm gonna do it my way.
Lock you down. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't fuck around the airspace. But it was a Lakers game that night too. I didn't know that. So they were patrolling the landscape for that. They weren't I thought they were, at first I was like, oh fuck, they put the drone up. And that building, there is a cop car on every corner of that building. So they're not fucking around. Like they're trying to.
The building is dope.
The building is so dope, dude. They need to let people.
Talking about the
graffiti
skyrise building.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
The guy lost funding for it, and it's just been sitting.
The guy's a sketchy. Like that money's like that's a money laundering thing. So that's why the building is still open, vacant like that.
Gotcha.
Every time somebody gets caught, they take them to jail, and then they call the guy who owns it, or like however that works, and then that guy is like, oh, don't press charges because they don't want him looking into his shit.
Just exonerates him. Yeah, right there.
So that's why there was dudes flying over here. Like some of the dudes that are hitting that building are from Europe and from fucking Asia and that kind of shit. People are flying in to hit that building because they know they can get away with it. Yeah. And it's because the hype on that building right now is like, I had to go and shoot it.
Taj Mahal of graffiti
insane.
Right
it's
now.
Fucking insane. And it looks like some post-apocalyptic type shit. Like the building's almost done, but it's not quite there. And then it has this gorgeous graffiti all over it. It's fucking nuts, man.
You were out there. Is it sketchy? Like the walkouts and stuff like that? It's not bad?
No, it's not bad at all. I mean, but I got to say that with a grain of salt. For regular people, nobody regular is wanting to do that shit. I'll climb. I don't have a fear of heights. And that's another thing too, is like anything that bothers me, I push towards it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't if I'm afraid of it, I'm like, why am I afraid of this shit? Like, what's the fucking issue? So then that's the kind of shit where I'm like, I want to push past it. And I don't know. That's my shit though.
Anything to get the shot, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Anything to get the shot. I know I've hang out of trucks, following choppers you were hanging out of the truck.
No, you were hanging out of the truck with my setup to film me on the Harley for my intro in California Sweethearts.
Shut the fuck up.
In downtown
Shut the fuck up.
Ian was driving your truck and you were hanging out of the back of the truck. And then ain't this a bitch? We did it for an hour about. So we do this. No, we have no harnesses. We didn't pull permits. We didn't do nothing. Brandon is hanging over the back of the tailgate of his truck with my camera on the gimbal and everything. We get all these amazing shots. We went all over downtown Riverside. The second we pulled to park to stop this, a cop rolls up and he goes, "Hey, you guys, you can't do that." And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're just messing around." And he's like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
So got all the shots you needed.
We got everything we needed. Yeah.
And then try to get busted down.
And then the cops pull up and they go, "You guys can't do that."
So you were dropping some nuggets on me before the show even started about videography.
Yeah.
Where does that line up in your list of passions? So you got photography, skateboarding, photography.
Good question.
So
because I was checking out some of your stuff too, the photography and the videography.
Yes.
It's good. If you guys go check it out.
Fire,
yeah.
Like I said, everything comes from skateboarding. There isn't a single skateboarder who's not vain. We're all conceited. So every skateboarder wants to see how they're doing it, how they can improve upon it, how they can everything about it. And now with the digital age that we live in, we want to post it. And we want that gratification. Oh fuck, you did damn, that was so much style. You pointed your ankle, you did this, you did that kind of. So what I'm getting at is so whatever we could do to find a camera, we would find a camera and then we would film. And I talk so much shit all the time about everything. And usually for good reason, because if I don't think I can't do it better, then I'm not going to everybody, there's that famous quote. It's everybody is afraid of getting punched in the face until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
That's the truth. It's
oh yeah.
I'm talking shit because I know I can get away with it.
Yeah.
So my friends would film something, and then I'd look at it, and I'd be like, it's fucking terrible, dude. Like, get lower, point it up, do this. Or like, dude, it's fucking shaky. And they got tired of hearing me talk shit. This is like my teenage years. So they got tired of hearing me talk shit. So they're like, well, fuck you do it. And then so I got a camera, and then it was my life's goal over the next course of the month or whatever to be a better filmer than them, just to prove them that they were doing a terrible job at it.
So it started as training footage.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yeah.
And then went into 1 year.
But I'm saying it's because of skateboarding. It's like
to perfect it.
Yeah. And then every time I got fucking hurt, because you're gonna get hurt. Anything you give a shit about, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So every time I got hurt, I couldn't skate. I'd pick up the camera and then I'd shoot that way. But it was more than anything. It was just because I grew up crazy fucking poor, and so the issue for me was I had to find a way to make myself valuable. My friends had cars. I didn't have a car. Couldn't afford a car. I didn't get my license until I was 22. And so I was driving all my friends' cars and everything. Like, I've been driving cars since I was like 14, 15 years old, but I didn't have a license or anything. And we'd hang out. They'd be too drunk or whatever, and I'd get behind the wheel and I'd drive them back to the house, whatever. It wasn't a big deal. But so being the poor kid, I asked my mom, I was like, don't give me anything for the next 2 years. Buy me this camera. And so she got me like a little shitty, like handy cam type camera. Now I have the tools to get them to pick me up. And I've had an amazing memory most of my life. My grandma, when I was like a baby, she'd put me on her lap. Like, this is before like seatbelt laws and everything. Like, the 80s shit was a little bit more relaxed than it is now. So my grandma would put me on her lap behind the wheel, and she'd take me to the park, and then she'd come back, and then the next time she'd come pick me up, she'd be like, tell me where to go. And my mom told me, and my grandma told me that I would point the direction to get back to the park. So my memory's been amazing the majority of my life. And so but I'm not good with street signs. Like, I'm a landmark person. Like, go to the Del Taco and make a right. And there'll be like that weird fucked up tree, then make a left there.
Right.
That's how I have to, like, I won't remember anybody's name, but it's like, I'll associate with something like, your name's Zach, so fuck, that's an easy one for me. My name's Zach, so then I can associate. Or like, if your name was Brad, I'd be like, Brad Pitt. Okay, cool, Brad Pitt. Then I can remember your name. Mm-hmm. So I always like associated shit with that. So my memory was great. I had this camera now that my mom spent every fucking penny that she had on for it, and I like didn't get shit for years after I got the camera. And it was like, things were different back then. It was like, maybe the camera was a couple $100, but we didn't have a couple $100 to throw away on some fucking camera, So anyways, so now I have a camera and my memory's great. So they'd come pick me up. I'd be like, hey, I'll film you all day long and I'll give you your tape if you come pick me up and take me to the spot. So now everybody's picking me up because I'll film them.
Yeah.
So then I'm finding ways to get out of the house. And so now I'm being taken to all these amazing skate spots. And now my memory, I can remember how to get back there. So then when somebody would hit me up and be like, hey, you guys were skating that spot in San Diego the other day. How did you get there? And I go, well, I don't remember. I can't tell you, but if you pick me up, I'll get you back there. So I found a way to market myself, even though I couldn't drive. I didn't have money to give them for gas, even though gas was 98 cents a gallon back then. I still couldn't give them any money because I didn't have it. So I was like, how can I make myself valuable? And that was the way that I made myself valuable, is having the camera. But then having the camera and filming my friends and doing all this shit, then it's like, if you are mopping all the time, this is like probably a shitty analogy, but it's like, if you're mopping all the time, if you're detailing cars all the time because like you just have to do it, eventually, if you care about it in any way, if you want to be better at it, you're going to find ways to be good at that.
Correct.
So that's kind of what happened. It all came from skateboarding. That's just what I'm trying to reiterate, is like, I got into cameras because of skateboarding.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember going to a film premiering for California Sweethearts. That was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, first film I've gone to for skateboarding. And that was cool. I know you have another project that you're working on right now,
So the Concrete Buffet is my buddy Eric Razzo.
Okay.
And his Instagram is @FilmerDude. But that guy, he's the main, like, he films pretty much everything, and then I'm just like getting pickup shots a lot of the time. And he takes great photos, but he likes to film and do that type of thing, and so that's his YouTube stuff. So we go out every single Sunday. We've been going out every Sunday since like 2014.
He's getting better too on the board.
No, he's Eric's always been great. It's just that, like, I don't know if he didn't want us to film him or what the deal was, but, and like, we're being more mindful too. It's like when he starts fucking around, I'll just grab the camera and start filming him.
Right.
So that's why he's getting more footage now. Eric has always been a solid skateboarder, but the second somebody would start trying a trick, you have to make that conscious decision. Am I going to keep skating and then film them when they ask me to film, or am I going to stop what I'm doing right now and start filming them?
I used to always think that the filmer was shit in skateboarding.
Because that's usually what happens. It's either the guy who got hurt and then he picked up a camera and then he ended up getting better at the camera shit, and then he realized that there was like a career path. Because like whether you want to film Hollywood or you want to film skateboarding or any of that kind of that, or it's the fat friend. Every time, like most filmers in skateboarding were like the chubby dude who like wanted to be a part of the session but couldn't fucking keep up like skate wise.
Here's your job now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, this is your game. You're doing this shit.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how that thing. But there is a lot of legit skateboarders. Like this guy Bobby Bills on Instagram, like he could have been pro, but it's like, but he's a filmmaker and he's fucking amazing. And like Ty Evans was like pretty solid skateboarder, like on Chump on This, like that old skate video that was just the filmers that they put in that video. Mm-hmm. Ty Evans is great. Ty Evans has been like my favorite filmmaker of all time. Just like the way he's approached filming skateboarding. Because everybody films with a fisheye, a big fisheye on the VX 1000 or the 2000 2100 or whatever, or the DVX. There's all these like skate cameras that they've used over the years with the fisheye. But like Ty Evans was one of the first people who was like, got a 4K got a 1080 camera, made it was HD, and then it was widescreen. And then he went to 4K, and then now he's shooting like 12K. His like, I think his job now is he does all the aerial video stuff for like all over. It doesn't matter. Like if you want like amazing aerial cinematography, they put this like $1 million camera on the bottom of a helicopter, and he's the one who controls it.
Jesus.
And he does it for all the movies in Hollywood, I'm sure. He does it for anybody who needs a real like helicopter shot.
I've always found it interesting though, like you pull these crazy accounts. Right now you're working with Speed King.
Yeah.
Speed King's it's a motorcycle company.
Yeah, it's like he makes hard parts, so he does like bars and risers and pegs, and Steve makes all kinds of stuff. He's done like he's I don't like the term artist for myself because I think it's like some kook shit, but an artist is somebody who's like like if you want to paint and you can draw and you do all like whatever your field takes, you research and you knock out every piece that has to do with that. So Steve, he rides motorcycles. He's passionate about motorcycles, but he's also in like he rides Harleys fast and hard, and he's really good at it. So that's something that Harleys are known for. Usually you ride a sport bike, but Steve likes Harleys. So if you like lean the bike over and your peg starts to scrape, Steve's like, how do I fix this issue? Like, how can I lean the bike over farther for a more performance type thing and get the pegs not to scrape? So then like the pegs got a little bit shorter, maybe they got a little bit longer, and then now they have like a slash cut on the bottom of them so he can lean the bike over lower and you're not hitting the peg as much. Or like the bars put you in a certain position on the bike so it's more performance driven.
Does Speed Kings have a race team or?
They did, yeah. He more sponsors people, so he's done that. Like where they like, he just will outfit their bikes with the proper things.
Okay.
To do that, because there's a bunch of people that are in like the Bagger Racing League, the BRL, and like he sponsors a shit ton of people in that circuit. He sponsored a bunch of dudes who were doing stunt riding because like these stunt riders would be stunning their Harleys, and they're not made for that either. These 700-pound motorcycles that are doing wheelies and shit. So they'd come down, and then the bracket that holds the peg would snap off, and he'd be like, okay, well, he has a CNC machine, and then he'll just like go into the app where you design the part in digital space before you send it to the CNC machine, and he would like make these parts 10 times stronger, 10 times better. Harley makes stuff for these overweight people to ride their bikes cross country.
For cruising. Yeah,
they don't
for
give
cruising.
a shit about the people that are stunt riding. They don't give a shit about the people that are riding their bikes fast and all like that. Like, I'm on the other side of the coin now. Like I've seen behind the veil in the Harley world, and it's not as big as people think it is. Harley isn't like, they're not promoting the shit like you think they are. It's different. Yeah. And I'm a part of the world because I like to film and do that kind of stuff for these people because that's what I do. I ride motorcycles too, so I want to be a part of the industry. But I don't I don't have to fuck with Harley Davidson. I don't ride a Harley Davidson. I ride Husqvarna motorcycles. I ride.
Yeah.
That should be funny too, because he will switch it up.
Yeah.
Right now he's got a tour bike. I was like, P, like I called him. I was like, what the fuck is that?
What are you doing on that?
What are you doing, bro? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know? And he'll have a Vespa. He's had a Grom.
Oh, I remember the Vespa. I've never seen the Vespa. Yeah.
I had 3 Vespas. I've had 4 Groms. I've had all kinds of bikes. But I like motorcycles. And then I was also through those like 48 bikes or however many bikes it was that I've had. I was looking for the perfect bike.
You're just playing with them. Yeah, you're trying them out.
Yeah, I was like, what do I not like about this? What do I like? My perfect job would probably be like working for some motorcycle dealership,
testing,
so that they can just like let me take these bikes out and make a YouTube review for it. That would be the shit, because then I won't have to spend $15,000 on a motorcycle and then realize how much I don't like it. So that's always been an issue. But yeah, I was looking for the perfect motorcycle, and there's 2 bikes that kind of fit the build for what I've liked over the years.
That's what's next. Because I know you got
motorcycle wise.
Yeah, motorcycle wise.
I'm not like the bike that I have right now, the Husqvarna Norden 901. So it's like 900cc. Technically it's like an adventure bike.
Yeah.
But the thing's fast as shit. It might as well be a sport bike. And it's got cruise control. It's got a heated seat, heated grips. It's like the navigation comes up on the screen. My text messages, my phone calls come up on the screen. It's wild. Like, it's this big techie. It's got a windshield. It's so comfortable on the freeway. So I've reached what I wanted, but that's not what
Bullshit.
No, seriously.
Bullshit. This is where I was like, hey, you said jump in, motherfucker. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've reached. But there is no limit. There is no limit. You're going to, as soon as they come out with something that's a little different,
well, as of right, they don't have anything
right now.
Yeah.
That you want to try out.
And the things that I've like fine-tuned, like I had the Husqvarna 701 Supermoto. That was probably the definition of my favorite bike.
Okay.
My favorite sounding motor is the FZ MT-07.
The Husqvarna Supermoto.
The 701, that SM bike that I had.
The gray one with the neon.
It was the one that I put new plastics on the whole bike, so it was all black with like a little bit of that the high-vis yellow.
That was
that bike was the shit.
I like the metal one, the custom metal one.
Oh, that was the DR650. It was a Suzuki DR650.
Man, that was dope.
That bike was rad. That bike started off as a big old hunk of shit.
Right, it was the process.
After we put all the work into it, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, that one was dope.
I want to jump on that question. I saw you post something the other day. It was like skateboarding till 40 or through 40 or something like that. It was
probably. Anytime I find a meme, I'm like, I'm
so is that where you see yourself? Just keep skateboarding and because that's your passion.
Chet Thomas had the best quote, and I say it all the time. And it was like a video that came out in like the late 90s, but it was a video called Canvas, or no, it might have been Canvas. I don't remember what video it was, but no, I think it was a different Globe video. But Chet Thomas is a pro skateboarder from the 90s, and he at the end of his video part, it just cuts to a scene of him talking, and he just said, "I'll skate till I can't walk."
Nice.
That's kind of like
where your mentality is right now.
Yeah, it's like the one that, like how I said, my grandma, like you could kill yourself and then tomorrow win the lottery. Like I'll skate till I can't walk. That's like, it's not even an option. When I got hit by this kind of harks back to that. When I got hit by the semi truck, and I'm like in a wheelchair and I'm all busted up and everything, the doctor's like, okay, cool, and he's telling me like what are the next steps of my life, and then I kind of like in one ear and out the other. And then finally when he's done talking, I go, cool, man, so when can I get back to like rolling around on the skateboard or whatever? And the doctor laughed and he goes, you're walking with a cane for the rest of your life. And I know he has to, because there's a lot of fat, lazy people in this world. And if he tells everybody the truth, like, hey, if you're motivated and you get off your fucking ass and go do something, then like, yeah, you'll get back to skating eventually. Like if you work real fucking hard. I had a broken hip. My femur was shattered. My knee was halfway down my shin. My radius, my ulna on my left arm, both the bones in your forearm were broken, destroyed. My elbow was gone. My wrist completely shattered. So all these things, everything on the left-hand side was completely obliterated. So I get where he was coming from. He thought, he's like, oh, this dude ain't never going to fucking skate again. He's going to walk with a cane.
Yeah, he's a broken mess.
Yeah. But he didn't understand that he was talking to a real skateboarder.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lay down and fucking die. That doesn't exist. So whatever I had to do to get back to skateboarding was going to happen. So 7 months after that conversation with that guy, I stepped on a skateboard for the first time and got to roll around a skate park. And it felt fucking terrible.
Oh, I bet.
It was so uncomfortable. Like, it was the worst shit ever. But I was like, oh, bitch, this is it.
That made you want it more, too.
I was like, if I can do this, then I was like, I don't care how long it takes. I was like, I'll get back to where I was. I was like, I know it's just fucking, I was like, that guy fucked up. He didn't realize who he was talking to.
It was funny, too, like, working in the shop with him, when he would go through these things and, like, being an artist around him when you would get sick and stuff and not want to come into work and he'd be in here fucking dying and shit.
Yeah.
He'd be like, all right, there's no excuses and stuff. So it kind of sucked, too, for us, too, just because it's like he would always be there fucking banging out tattoos, looking clean, on time, clean fucking booth. Did it like he never offered any room for fucking excuses and shit.
That's thanks to my grandpa, though. That's World War II military.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's totally different breed.
Yeah.
You've always spoke highly of Zach.
Oh, dude, I've learned so much from this dude. We used to fucking get into it, too. Like, we have the ability to fucking ignite at any point in time, but there's just this mutual respect. You know what I mean? Like his consistency and my consistency kind of really worked the fuck out. You know, like his honesty, like he'd be saying some fucked up shit.
Brandon's a no bullshit
Same
person.
lines. Yeah.
And neither am I. And Brandon will call you on your bullshit when you say some dumb shit.
All the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if I hear something and I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous, even if I'm trying to be combative a little bit or whatever, like I'm gonna ride that shit out. I'm like, and I started talking shit, so guess what? I'm not gonna fucking say I was wrong. I'm going to keep digging in. If I fucked up, I'm like, oh, well, we're going to ride this shit out as far as we got to go. And I didn't know that my liver was failing this whole fucking time, so I'm real pissed off all the goddamn time.
But you know what, though? I with that relationship that we had working here, that was a really good point of life right there. Even though with all the trauma and stuff like that.
But that's what it is.
That was a good point of life.
What do they say, trauma bond?
That's a real thing,
Yeah, it was a trauma bond. I was there for my guy. I used to tell Brian, like, hey, bro, like, if this nigga dies, like, I'm the only motherfucking here. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I'll run the shop.
He just passed out. Like, I don't know. Like, he's not looking good. And now he's over here 2 weeks later. Yeah, I'm out here. I'm back out here. I'm like, cuz, you need to calm your ass down. Like, nah.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is, like, if you feel like shit, and you know you feel like shit, my eyes were yellow. Like, my liver's failing.
I'm pretty sure I saw you with
when your liver
fucking yellow eyes one time.
When your liver's failing, you have that, like, hepatitis,
that jaundice
look.
Yeah.
So because of that, it was obvious. It was all over my body. Like, when somebody looked at me, they'd be like, hey, are you doing okay? And when you hear some shit like that all the time, even if you don't feel good, that, like, the last thing you want to hear is like, how you doing? I'm like, fuck you, I'm fine.
Off.
Like, leave me the fuck alone. So it's like, I got tired of hearing that shit. So anytime and Brandon's like, Brandon cares. So Brandon would be like, hey, you good? You doing all right? I'm like, man, fuck you. Stop asking me that shit.
Yeah. So you want to do more?
No, I'd be like, so you telling me you want a hug then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really funny.
And I would literally go over there and hug cuz. Get you one of these. You know what I mean?
Like, you better get the fuck off.
Just because he don't like shit like that, too. Yeah. So, you know.
My mom is super affectionate. Like, the word love doesn't have much of a meaning to me because my mom would be like, she'd walk into the living room and I'd be doing something. She'd be like, hey, everything okay? Love you. And I'd be like, love you. And then she'd go in the kitchen, she'd go in the bathroom, and like 2 seconds later, she'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go outside, love you. And I'd be like, yeah, I love you. And then eventually, like, I barely tell my mom I love her because of that. And my mom's like touching me on the shoulder, like, hey, honey, like, is there any like that? And so that kind of shit pushed me the fuck away. Like, even with I've fucked up every relationship I've ever been in. Like, I'm single right now because of shit like that. Because, like, I'll sit down and then I'm like, I want to be affectionate, I want to cuddle, but then they, like, start to get close to me and I'm scooting to the other side of the couch and I don't even realize I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's because my mom is so fucking loving and so affectionate and such a good person that it fucked me up.
Yeah, your ass gotta lean in.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta.
I'm getting better at it. I've realized, like, the last 2 serious relationships that I've been like the skateboarder in me, like the ignorant, shitty person, and like that, like my past, like of not wanting to be affectionate. It has fucked up every real relationship I've ever had. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm having, like, the next one that I have, I'll be that much better at like I'll try to be aware in the moment that I'm fucking this up.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. I don't think, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that shit's gonna happen. You know, just based off of.
And you're not wrong, because like I've been this way for 38 fucking years.
Yeah, like, and that's not a diss. Like, I just feel like
that's the truth.
Your pursuit towards life is not gonna allow you.
It's different
to have
consistent relationship. Like he Gus goes hard. You
Yeah.
know, he's gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Up north, where the fuck was the fucking?
I saw shots in
Harley
San
convention.
Pedro fucking
Well, that was yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah, yeah.
Every
That's,
Sunday is skateboarding.
Yeah.
9 o'clock every day here, and then he gets pissed off when you fuck up his schedule too.
yeah.
So he's a creature of habit. Like,
I've been getting better about that too, though. Is like because I realized that like Brian's like I was in the back room, and then Brian would be like, "Oh, you're gonna go in the lobby now," and I'm like, "Man, fuck that! I got my booth set up the way I like my booth. I ain't going fucking nowhere. Like tough shit."
Yeah.
So because like Brian always would be like, he's like, "Well, there's 3 things in life that are certain. It's like death, taxes, and change." And I'd be like, "Okay." So because working for Brian and being around Brian, and Brian's a good dude, so I was just like, all right, I got to back the fuck off with this shit. Like I have to, like that was a big thing.
You saying you don't like change?
I'm trying to make an honest effort, and being here, like the change in the shop has been we're always changing something in the shop. So like with the shop change, I've been so open. Like recently when we ripped apart the back, he was like, "Okay, Zach, you're going to go back on the other side." I was like, at first I was like, "God damn it." But then I was like, well, you like it on this side, you might like it on that side.
Yeah.
So it's like my initial is to fucking hate and be against everything. But then I have to like take a second and I'm like, all right, yeah, this might be cool.
And
like,
that's the new part. He
Yeah.
didn't have that
Nah,
shit before.
I didn't have that
Before,
shit
it
my
was
whole
just
fucking
hate.
life.
It was just like, damn, this dude is motherfucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, calm your ass down. Like, nah.
And it's not even, I wake up and choose violence.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So it's not even, there's no like, I don't have like my level is at 13 all day.
Yeah.
Like I'm so opinionated and I'm so passionate about the shit that I fuck with that it's like if you come into my space and you're like, "Hey, tell me about cameras," I'm just like, "I don't want to learn about no fucking cameras." Like, sit the fuck down. We'll tell you about cameras. Yeah. So there's like, I'm just already.
You hate inauthentic, though.
Yeah.
You hate inauthentic. He's very, like, if you come to him.
Because of skateboarding.
Right. And you have a disposable camera and you're like, and you want to talk about cameras, you're probably going to get cussed out.
Yeah.
You're not going to have, or if you're a little kid, then he's going to spend all the time with, like, I don't want you to demonize yourself. You're not some fucking.
Nah, I know.
You know what I mean? You're not some fucking. Like people love you, bro.
Yeah.
Which I find fucking odd.
That's
you know
what
I mean.
so
like
it's because they don't the bullshit. There's no bullshit.
Right.
I'm me all the fucking time.
Right. It's like
whether you
it's
like it or not.
Person, people be like, "Oh, fuck Peacock, you got a great following and shit." This motherfucker crazy. He be saying all kind of crazy shit.
Hey,
not to offend people.
You want to hear something funny?
But
this morning, I got a perfect example of that. This guy hits me up, and he's like, "Oh, well, can you touch up this tattoo you did 8 years ago?" And I go, "Send me a picture of it." He sends me the picture, and it looks like a tattoo that's been settled in.
Yeah.
And he's got a hairy leg, and like I don't know, he's just like woke up or whatever. And then I go, "What do you want touched up?" And he's just like, "It's kind of like it's not as black as it once was. Like it's not punchy." And I go, "I can show you the text message." The text message read verbatim, "Shave your leg and put some lotion on it."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right. Yeah.
No, care. The self-care. People neglect that a lot too.
The tattoo looks better when your fucking leg doesn't have a beard on it and you put lotion on that shit. And this dude's white. You don't got to be black to put lotion on. Come on now.
Correct.
Yeah. You're a particular person with style, skateboarding, cars. I've seen him buy. Remember you got your Tacoma and then you took that bitch right back.
I had the Tacoma for a month and a half.
Yeah, he took that motherfucker.
And I got it from a dealership.
Yeah, I saw it out front too.
No, that's the Ranger.
Oh, that was a Ranger? Okay.
The one out front is a Ranger. I just got that.
I think I came in on a session and you had just gotten the Tacoma.
Yeah.
And then you turned that back around.
Yeah, so I had it for a month and a half, and it was just, I got it. I wanted the truck because of all the motorcycle shit that I do.
Absolutely.
And like having a car is just, it's kind of like oxymoron shit. Like you got a car, but you're dealing with electric bikes and motorcycles and parts, and you got friends that ride bikes. Like you can't help.
It doesn't make sense.
You can't help none of your friends out. You can't help yourself out.
Yeah, can't haul a trailer the right way.
So I got a truck, and then I realized how much I fucking hate the turning radius. I hated, like, it was a 4-cylinder, should have got a 6-cylinder. So I was like, this thing fucking sucks. So then I took it back to the dealership, and I was like, fuck this thing. I want a hatchback. So then I got back into a car, and I love that car. The car was a shit.
Took the Ducati back.
Yeah, I got a Ducati Hyper Motard.
Okay.
And I had that for 2 days.
Shut up.
I rode down to San Diego. I dropped the bike. I traded my bike in, the 701 Supermoto. I traded that bike in for this Hyper Motard Ducati. It was a 950. I got the bike, I rode it home, and the whole way home, I'm just like, God damn, this bike's got so much power. And like the seating position was kind of aggressive because it's a supermoto, but it's a sport bike and drag. Let's be realistic. Like, that's what it was. Like, this bitch had a dress on, you know? She's trying to act like a woman, but she ain't no bitch.
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
Yeah.
So I get it home, I ride it around the weekend, and every gear is just like bop, bop, bop. Like, there was no like roll on the throttle.
It's hard.
It was on, off. And I'm riding around town, and I'm just like, I can't even fucking enjoy this bike. It's like riding a sport. I don't ride sport bikes. I've ridden them, and I realized that that's not my shit. Like, I want a bike that I can just ride around town. If I want to do wheelies, if I want to jump off a curb, if I want to be a dick, then like that's why I got into like the enduro or like the dual sport bikes, because it's a street legal dirt bike, and I can be a dick out there.
Yeah.
It's like it's a skateboarder's bike. That's what I call dual sport bikes, because it's like you're going, you want to get on the curb, you want to jump off the curb, you want to do a wheelie, you want to not do a wheelie, you want to do burnouts, you want to fuck around. It's
Hit
like,
some dirt.
It's
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
It's skateboarding at a faster pace. So I had the Ducati all weekend, and then on Monday, I got the bike on Saturday, and then Monday comes around, I called the dealership, and I was like, hey, you still have my bike? And they're like, yeah, it's been 2 days. I was like, hang on to it, I'm bringing the bike back. And he's like, what? I go, I'm riding the bike back, I'm coming to pick my bike up. I was like, this thing's going to fucking kill me. And he's just like, he didn't understand. I go, I know that you guys already started the DMV paperwork. I was like, I understand that, like, I'm going to have to eat some money out of this.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm coming to get my bike, and I'm giving you this bike back. And then so I go down there, and it was like $1,700 was like the DMV fees and all that kind of shit just to get things switched back out.
Your ass never settles.
But no, man, I know what I'm looking for what I'm looking for, and until I'm never satisfied, but I'm like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool for right now. And until I get to that point, then I'm like, I'm good with that for right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't care how much it costs or how much bullshit. And I'm not fucking rich. It's just that I'm looking for what I am looking for. And until, like, if I get something and I fucked up, I'll admit it. I'm like, yo, that bike was too much bike for me. Mm-hmm. I had to take that fucking Ducati back. Mm-hmm. It was going to kill me.
Explain to these fools why you can't wear Vans and Nike socks.
Oh, nice. Nice. I was hoping that would come up.
Yeah, explain to these fools why you can't wear Vans, which I agree.
So the thing with that is what I'm posting on Instagram all the time is I'm making fun of people who are cross-branding. If you, as a skateboarder, everything, like I said, everything comes back to skateboarding. If I was sponsored by a shoe company, it was this company called Vox. I think they were based out of San Diego. And when I was skating for Vox shoes, if I was wearing a Vans t-shirt or a Vans hat or Adidas track pants or fucking Nike socks, they'd be like, what the fuck?
To make you toss it.
It's cross-branding. Yeah. If I get a photo in a magazine and I got a fucking Vox t-shirt on, but I got Vans shoes on.
Thank you.
They're like, you look like a piece of shit.
You do look like a piece of shit.
Straight up.
I'm on your team.
So when I see these motherfuckers out in the real world, this dumb motherfucker got a Nike hat on and his Adidas shirt, but he's got Pumas on. I'm like, did you just wake up and say, fuck it, I don't care how I look?
Yeah, knock that shit off, please.
That right there tells me that you don't give a fuck how you look.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, what kind of a person in the rest of your life are you? Like, okay, cool. Like, you just, like, your girlfriend makes your meals for you. You like, your mom gave you the car to drive. Like, you just a fucked up person.
You're just
like,
wild.
You got no independence in your life.
The only person that could get away with that is Goose.
Yeah, Goose is a wild man. Let Goose be wild.
Good.
One of our homeboys from back in the day, he ran the local active ride shop that was right there in Riverside.
Yeah.
Goose was doing some wild shit.
Yeah, he could get away.
But he had a swag to back it up.
But he looked good doing it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I feel that. Yeah,
the only person that could pull that shit. He used to have different color side. Be like,
yeah, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, but do whatever you want.
My man have real
shout
stuff.
Out to Goose.
Yeah, Goose is a real one.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people?
But let me hark back on that. So that's why it's like I say, like, all that shit about mix matching and all like that. I don't understand it. I don't know if Nike socks are that comfortable. I don't fucking wear Nike socks. I don't wear, but everybody who wears slip-on Vans or simple Vans, I get it because they're simple, they match with fucking everything. They're all wearing Nike socks. So it's like,
so it's a thing. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't realize how deep this fucking went.
And I'm just as white girl as everybody else at Starbucks. So it's like I go to Starbucks once, twice a day.
Yeah.
All these fucking kooks at Starbucks are wearing pulled up Nike socks with Vans shoes.
It's a style.
It's wild.
I didn't realize
it's a style.
It's like bullshit is what it is.
They're like, yo, let me get those Nike stocks to
put.
He was trying to get me to ask you this question. Yeah, and he brought it up to me yesterday, and I didn't get it. So now I'm starting to get it.
People always talk shit on me. Like, they'll respond to me talking shit on somebody from mixed match, and they go, well, what if that's all he had? Blah, blah. And I'm like, well, he spent more money on those Nike socks than going to Costco and getting a 50-pack of Kirkland socks or going to Walmart or Target and getting a fucking 12-pack of socks that cost like $10 fucking dollars that don't have no logos on it. If you're out there shining and banging on people with your socks pulled up and you're trying to just like logo bang on everybody, match your fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like he didn't have to put those Nike socks on. He could have put some beat ass. Oh, those are the only ones that I had clean. Then do your fucking laundry, retard. Like I can't help you. You got no fucking excuse.
I told you. Yeah, that shit gets me going. Follow his Instagram. What's your Instagram?
At Zach Peacock. It's ZACH because my name is Zachary. So at Zach Peacock.
He be posting
Peacock like the bird.
Posting some funny stuff. His work is solid too, guys. He's a great tattooer. Everything is clean, meticulous. If you have something cool to shoot, you guys should hit him up and then maybe pull it.
Like I've filmed my most recent ex-girlfriend. She's still the shit. Like I love her daughter like my own. And her name Natalia Thomas. She's the best. She was doing Miss Murder Case at Miss Murder Case on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
But she does she's like real big into fitness. She was a Marine. Like she did her tour. She was in Afghanistan. She was in Okinawa. Like she put it down for the United States. And so she's really big on fitness because of all like her past and everything. And then she got into the pole fitness shit. So it's kind of like pole dancing without stripping type thing.
It's hard. Yeah.
And like I always like fucking joke around and stuff, but there was a pole at the house and I tried to pull myself up and I was like, oh, I don't have this.
No.
And I've been like, you're talking to somebody who's fairly athletic. Like I can run, I can jog, I can do all these things because of skateboarding. Like I've never ever gone to the gym to work out. I still don't go to the fucking gym to work out because like skateboarding has kept me in shape. I talk shit. People be like, oh, you work out, you do this kind of stuff. I'm like, man, fuck you. I ain't going to the gym. Like gym's for a bunch of kooks. Like fuck the gym. But in hindsight, skateboarding